Hi everyone, welcome to SOP podcast. Today I'm excited to host one of my good friends, but on this platform, she's a global communication professional. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are seated, allow me to welcome Clara. Clara, welcome.
Thank you,
What an
Steve.
introduction.
What an introduction, as if I was not sitting here listening. But thank you for welcoming me to
Okay.
your home, your podcast.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be here. I've been watching the work that you're doing online.
Yeah.
Very commendable, and I wanted to be part of it.
Welcome. I should have invited you way back. And I think it was the right time even for you to ask me that you wanted to come. And I didn't even blink. I said, oh wow, this is Clara. Kuja kesho.
Yeah.
So I was telling you off camera before we go to the topic that the reason I started this SOP podcast, actually it's a SOP photography podcast because I'm a photographer by profession.
Yeah.
But I realized that LinkedIn has so many professionals. And the stories you hear from LinkedIn, in most cases, is that I am thrilled
Exactly.
to join.
Excited.
I'm excited to be given this opportunity to join this company. I'm elated.
Happy to announce that I'm elated.
That I'll be joining this organization as the lead. I felt in a way that was no stories of professionals.
It's not so realistic.
It's not so realistic because some people are being demoted, and who wants to say, I'm thrilled to announce that I'm being demoted.
Some are stagnating.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been somewhere for 10 years,
And
still
then-
there,
and
just
nothing
wondering.
moving. So every time you logged in LinkedIn and you just see, I'm elated. For me, in a way, I felt it was a bit too much. And then I thought that professionals also have stories to tell.
Yeah.
While they are owning spaces or they're leading institutions or organizations, they also have stories to tell.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I decided to bring this to light. So welcome to the light of SOP photography.
Lovely. You're doing the Lord's work because we've become a society of highlights, just highlight after highlight. And we're not showing the mundane things, the day-to-day processes of how people come to be, You're seeing someone has been awarded, but you're not really seeing the story behind the awards, behind the promotions,
Yeah.
behind the learnings. So when you're not having something major to announce, to be excited about, you feel like, am I even alive?
And it sometimes takes a toll, but anyway, this could be conversation for another day. The LinkedIn post that inspired me to start this podcast could be a story for another day. But for us today, I think the topic for conversation was for us to discuss global communications and culture.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited because I was telling you before that it feels good to experience the global space as a professional. But then if I don't ask you how you got there, people will ask me, Kwani, unadu? What are you doing? So what has been your journey with your global communications since you get where you started to until to in the summary? Don't write for us, Insha.
Okay. No life story? Okay. So in 1990, Okay. I think maybe I can also start with how we met.
Oh, wow.
Because we met when we were working on Blaze together, right?
Yeah.
So at that time was the beginning of my career.
Oh, wow.
At Being Interactive. That was my first job at Being. Well, my first job. The rest were internships in campus. And I worked in the advertising space for the first 5 years of my career.
Yeah.
And I moved to media thinking that it would be different. If anyone has ever worked with or around the advertising industry, it's the same in Kenya. Globally, it's the same culture, the same work environment, the speed, the intensity, it's now or never.
The
And deadlines, it's like a touch and go lifestyle, but you're not really there to see the outcome. I think Blaze was one of its kind, because we worked on the brand for so long, enough to see the impact of the work that we were doing.
Oh, wow.
A lot of our clients, it was touch and go. There's this campaign, there's this campaign, there's this campaign. And in 2022, I decided that this is not it for me anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to work in this environment. At that time, I was also looking ahead, thinking there are things I wanted for myself. And the environment, that industry was not reflective of those things.
Yeah, okay.
It's just, being honest with yourself. Where am I? Where do I want to be? The bridge requires a change, right?
Yeah.
And I remember resigning from my employer without a job, without a plan, with savings.
Wow.
Save, guys. Save.
Even Jesus saves.
Save. You know what? And I also would want to highlight that as you listen to the podcast, don't, especially this episode, don't ignore the role that favor from God plays. Because we can tell I can tell you, oh, this is what I did. But the strongest facilitator of my career growth is God.
Amen.
Because I resigned from that job, and in 2 months, I had gotten a job with the World Food Program.
Yeah.
And that role, the headquarters were in Rome. That's where the WFP headquarters are.
In Rome.
And a lot of people through that transition were asking me, okay, connections. I didn't know anyone working in the UN system at the time. I just applied, Steve.
Oh, wow.
I just applied with the same CV that I had been using to apply for other jobs.
I have to tell you something.
With the same CV.
You know. Let me tell you something before you can. Let me add into your story. I was shortlisted for another UN job. It was UNHCR, just retelling.
Yeah.
And it's the same CV I've been using to apply these other jobs that I also used to apply for that job. And I was shortlisted. Of course, I didn't get the job, but the fact that I was shortlisted got me elated. I felt like you could be having the same thing, but the world needs it and you don't even know.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it's valued at different prices at different locations. So let us... and also on that note for the CV, there's a lady called Esther Kinuthia. She currently runs an organization called Core Global, supporting professionals. She helped me redo my CV. She helped me. We were in Strathmore together, though at different times. And she helped me during that transition. When I was telling her I want to work in an NGO space, she's like, you can do it.
Oh, wow. So
you need encouragement, but also confidence to apply to these things. So anyway, that's how I transitioned. That was my first international role. And it was quite challenging. Yeah. But it was also very educative for me to see the gaps. Sometimes you have to enter different rooms to see the gaps that you have as an individual and also as a professional. Yeah. So that contract ended, and then also now it led to this contract that I have with the Elephant Protection Initiative. They're my current employer.
Oh, wow.
I love them. I love elephants.
We love you right back.
Healthy environment, lovely colleagues, small team, but global impact.
Yeah.
And that's been my journey so far.
Yeah.
So the better half of it's almost like a half and half split.
Yeah.
So my first half was in local stroke regional work because of the clients we had. Like we had some clients like MultiChoice, where we were working closely with SA, South Africa. But then the second half of my career so far has been now in the international communication space.
Oh, wow. That's a very incredible journey. And I was thinking when you were coming up, I was thinking about our moments when we were shooting Blaze. I was shooting Blaze. You were doing digital. What was your role back then, actually? It was digital, right?
It was digital. Well, it was digital
Digital and media.
and content.
Digital and content.
Yes.
And I was the content guy.
Yes. You remember that sometimes we would shop for people for you?
Yeah.
And then we'd come and tell you, oh, there's this guy, this is their story, this is his or her story. So our work was to execute the strategy, the big picture strategy, into a digital execution plan.
Okay.
Because we were the ones coming on ground. You remember?
Yeah. Wow.
We were coming on ground to make sure that we execute what was agreed on in the boardroom. Yes. So looking for the individuals that align with this story, looking for the stories that amplify this direction, because the direction is real.
Yeah.
And you know that Safaricom, I'm just talking like everyone knows, but Safaricom is highly people focused.
Yeah.
It is the people first, and then it's like a cyclic thing that the people feed into the strategy and the strategy feeds into the people. So our work on ground was to look for the people who have been impacted greatly by the work that Safcom is doing, either through Twaweza, either through Blaze, either through Chapadimba.
Oh wow, these are the
Yes.
moments of our lives. I mean, I look at Chapadimba, and by the time I was leaving agency, they won an award based on the work we were doing on ground. I don't know, there's a big PR awards.
Yeah.
And I remember the PR value or the entire campaign value for that project was 2 billion.
Yeah.
Like it was able to reach 2 billion people. You understand?
Yeah.
And I look at even Blaze that we personally were part of and handled. And the idea of the tag, for me, it was the tag that greatness inspires
internal toughness.
Toughness was something that kept us going. But I mean, just to summarize on that, I think in a way we also learned how agencies and comms world is, you know. I mean, for me, lastly, I mean, what was your what was your take home during that entire experience, even working as with I'll say local agencies, to shape communications in both digital and strategy manner?
My take home. First, my take home is you might not see it, but you are your work.
What?
You are your work. You might not see it now, you might not see it tomorrow, but in 3 years, the work you do reflects in who you are. Think about Blaze, the work we were doing around, going in different towns in Kenya, teaching, mentoring young people on how to start their own businesses, how to operate on a national landscape. Greatness requires internal toughness, and look at me now.
Yeah.
I might not have seen it then, but actually as we were talking, is when I realized that I'm actually a product of Blaze.
Oh, wow.
Yes. For 4 years of my life, I was spending my time, I would say 70 is great, maybe 40% of my year sitting in a mentorship class in different towns, hearing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Then look at my life now.
Now I need to mention this person. I remember Shiro Gaido. She was the toughest. I really think Shiro loved really good pictures. I hope she still does now.
She does. You can even tell by the work that she produces.
Yeah, Shiro really does.
Good work.
I think Shiro was never someone who will make noise to you, but she'll tell you, Steve, I need good pictures.
Excellence.
She just tell you, Steve, I need good pictures. And you know, when Shiro says, Steve, I need good pictures, she'll be like, whatever you are sending, it's fine, but could you challenge yourself even much better? And for me, that is something that stuck with me. So even when there was pressure left, right, and center, I will still remember Shiro words.
Yeah.
When I was, because he was handling Blaze, I would remember Shiro telling me, Steve, I need good pictures. And that is what inspired me to keep producing good pictures.
And look at where you are now.
Look at where I am.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get to the topic in details.
Yes.
Global communications and culture. I am thinking, when someone listens to this, what comes to your mind? How could you define it in a very basic format that someone who is not experienced it or learned about it, could learn it?
Okay. We're Kenyan, right?
Yeah, of course we are Kenyans.
So I'll use
Kenya ni home.
a basic Kenya example.
Kenya ni home.
Kenya ni home.
Yeah.
When you visit a Kenyan home, the first thing they give you is tea.
Yeah.
Right? Now, depending on which part of Kenya you come from, that tea is consumed differently. What do I mean? I come from Meru.
Okay.
You will take the tea plain. There is no ugali coming next. It's the tea first. Tea is a meal in itself.
Okay.
But if I travel to your home, right?
Of course. The excitement is already there.
The tea comes with an accompaniment.
Yeah.
And in Luya land, they say, usishibe na cha, don't get full on the tea first.
Yeah.
Because there's more coming. Maybe you get mandazi, ground nuts, nini. The communication principles are the same throughout the world. Whatever we learn at Daystar, because I did my master's at Daystar, the principles are the same in Kenya, in Norway, in Rome, the principles. But the applications vary. So, what do I mean in this example with the tea? You must first observe how that tea is consumed. The tea is the same in different parts, different counties of the country, but they are consumed differently. There are some places where they tell you wait for the accompaniment to come so that you take the tea and the accompaniment. There are some places where you take the tea first. So if you wait in those areas, you look like you're suspecting the tea. You get?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, people think now this one doesn't trust us. But there are some areas where if you take the tea so fast, you look greedy.
Yeah.
It's the same. Tea is tea. It will all land in the stomach. But the messages that are relayed through the process of consumption of that tea is what we call then nuance.
Yeah.
So you might have done your education in Kenya and now you're entering the workforce, or you've worked for a majority of your career in the African context. Let me not even say African, the Kenyan context.
Yeah.
When you're moving into global communication, the first skill to perfect is listening. And not listening just with your ears, listening with your eyes, and listening for the invisible conversations that are happening. How do people speak? There are some places where if you maintain eye contact the way you've maintained with me, people are threatened. It's like, okay, this one is so aggressive.
Okay, let me slow down Let me slow down mine.
So the first thing to do is to listen, but to never stop listening. So you're always listening to how people are communicating. And as you're communicating, you're also listening to how your messages are being received. I think that's the biggest complexity when you're working with multicultural organizations and environments. especially in the NGO space where you're engaging with people in different education levels. So you're working with the people who are receiving the aid, you're working with people who are distributing the aid, and you're working with high-level individuals who are making the policies. It comes with a lot of personal development, and I think that was where I struggled with my first contract, because I was not that mature yet. I was really young.
Oh.
I was a young girl with a big
16.
job.
60, you're 16.
I think I didn't understand those things. And at that time, the head of our team, great gentleman with so much depth, he's called Philip Jones. He was trying to teach me that in these places, you have to be confident, but you also have to listen. And at that time, I was thinking, I'm listening. Like, my ears could not
All
be
out,
bigger.
I'm here, yeah.
But I didn't know how to listen to people deeply, because at the time, I was not also listening to myself deeply. The self-awareness was lacking a bit. Self-development was lacking. And that's why after that contract, I went to school to do psychology to understand myself better.
Oh, wow.
But in that process of understanding myself better, I've been able to connect with people from different parts of the world so deeply that it could not have happened with another master's degree. You understand? It wouldn't have happened with a PhD in communication. It would have only happened if I looked back inside. So global comms is a dance between your understanding of yourself and your understanding of people. So the communication, by the time you're getting these roles, guys, you're qualified. You're qualified educationally, technically, and especially if you're speaking to a Kenyan audience. Kenyans are some of the smartest people in the global landscape. If you go to the UK, they know that Kenyans are smart. The US, they know that Kenyans are smart. Like, there's a brand we have as Kenyans that is so good.
Okay.
They know Kenyans can do the work.
Yeah.
Now, you've gotten the job, you excel at your technical role. The gap starts in leadership. Because we've been taught to be performers, it takes a lot of work to open the eye, the inner eye, to be able to influence and connect with people beyond their work. And now when you're going to these global landscapes, influence matters.
Wow. Oh, yeah. No, you remind me of when I started my photography journey. And I think those Blaze jobs and those Safaricom jobs were really, they shaped me in a very big way. Because I started with wedding, then I moved to agency, and now I never saw myself shaping the visual perspective of a brand like Safaricom. Like I was in charge of ensuring that whatever I produce reflect their values, their beliefs, their system, anything they are trying to tell people in one single picture, And that is how, in a way, it helped. It opened my eyes, because even a single feedback on a picture you took that was not right, it was not about you. It was because you did not align to this organization values and beliefs. And probably as an agency or a custodian, you realize that the reason why there were so many critical feedbacks, some were so ruthless, it's because, in a way, the alignment to your aligning to organization value and beliefs remain very critical. But I really like something you've mentioned that has stayed with me, even as I scale up as a storyteller. Because I think I also I worked with local agencies, but I also scaled up to working with global organizations. And my last role was working with the European Election Observation Mission in Kenya. during the elections.
Yeah.
And I saw how those guys were critical about what could go out. You know, you've talked about listening to the invisible. I could see that, for example, I took a picture of a particular person interacting with a particular person during an engagement, and that was okay. But is that what they want people to perceive about them? No. So that picture will not go anywhere. It will remain in the archive.
Yeah.
You understand? So even as we dwell around this, our growth personally, I feel like this is like our me moment. This is like our me moment.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, you've mentioned about geopolitics,
Yeah.
the global influence. I want to ask you, how do you think global communications and culture, because you're dealing with different backgrounds. I really like the way you've said you went and did psychology. I want to ask you, how then, as a global communication professional, how then do you balance culture and the geopolitics, and influence? Because that's where also many young people are probably pivoting towards that direction, but that is coming and they don't know how to deal with it.
Okay. Heavy question. So,
Maybe question like answer.
so the most important thing is to understand that people are the most important thing. It starts with people. So, before I even go to the answer, I also want to create a distinctive difference for our audience that marketing and communication are not the same thing. Marketing is more about publicity, selling, convincing people to buy a certain product or idea. Communication is what forms the idea. What is the idea? You understand? So, for instance, when you're making something like juice, communication talks about the essence of the juice. Why is this juice made? What will this juice accomplish? What is the makeup of the juice? What are the policies that are around that the juice has aligned to? What should the juice be perceived as? And marketing then takes this information and reworks it to make it attractive to different audiences. So when we're talking about global communication, the person is at the center. And as I respond, I'll also respond to the second part for the young person who wants to pivot or to align themselves to this direction. The person is the most important. So people are not just, we've come to a point where we misunderstand the equation, where we think people are consumers. People are also the producers. Yeah. So people play the biggest part of the equation in that not only are they the consumers, but they also they reproduce what you give them. So the nature of people is that if I give you bread, you give me toast. You give me toast my eye. You also reproduce something with the bread that you've been given. Same with communication. When you put out communication, people will reproduce that communication, and you want them to reproduce it in the direction. And I call back to your example of the picture.
Oh, wow.
You're seeing, okay, it's not a bad picture, but if this was to be reproduced, it will be reproduced in the wrong direction. Because it's not the message that we want to send. So politics exists where people exist. So you remember, people are the primary, right? Where there are people, there's politics. So there's no environment with people unless there are only goats. Maybe there's no politics. But who am I? I'm not a goat. I might not know the things of goats. But
maybe you're the greatest of all time.
I don't know that ecosystem, but I know with the little I know, where there is people, there is politics. And now, the thing about human psychology is that in as much as we are different, we're the same. So I would like to redirect the focus of our audience and, of everyone who is working in this environment. Focus on the things you know. Don't focus so much on the unknown when you're starting out. So, what do you know about people? People want to be respected. And this is what I mean by, so when we talk about the invisible communication and the invisible language, I'm not talking about nonverbal, because nonverbal you can see. You can see how I'm making my face.
I'm
You can see
reacting.
my, exactly.
If I do like this,
Yes, I can see it and I can perceive it. But there are things that you cannot see, but they exist. For instance, there is no place you will go in the world where honor is not required. How you communicate that honor is different. But honor is understood in all cultures. Even animals understand honor, boundaries, danger. You understand? All cultures, all people understand happiness. They understand joy. So there's things you know for sure. Bank on those, perfect those. Kindness. You can go to a conference in a land where they speak probably
let's say
Arabic.
Amharic.
Yes,
Why,
yes.
how comes I also thinking about Amharic?
No, but it's true. So as comms professionals, you're required to, let me give a practical example. In 2022, end of 2022, I was organizing a workshop in Hungary, Budapest. And it was mostly remote working. And then I had to go there earlier to support now the execution, making sure the conference room is good and sometimes you can be so naive, you think, English is popular all over the world. Well, not everywhere. There are some cultures where their local language, like for instance, in Budapest, Hungarian is highly spoken. How do you get things done in a span of a day with people who you've met 10 minutes ago? Joy, happiness, kindness, humility. Those are the things that get wheels moving like nothing before. You can come with cookies, yes, but you don't know if people there are lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
But everyone there consumes joy.
Yeah.
Everyone will have a slice of happiness. Everyone will have a slice of respect, maybe even two. So when you're approaching people, approach them with happiness, with joy, with a smile on your face. Ears, like, let your body be the embodiment of, I receive you well, and I hope you receive me too.
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is where I come from. This is a band from my country.
Oh, yeah.
In 10, 15 minutes, we are clicking. We might not be speaking the same language, but you can tell, this is such a lovely girl.
Yeah.
And I want to help her. So in terms of navigating the geopolitics, present yourself in a way that you will not be misunderstood. No one can mistake joy for sadness.
Yeah.
Rarely. Unless you know each other too well to know that joy is pretentious. But what I'm working towards is that each professional cultivates an inner environment that transcends language and politics. Because that's where culture comes in. Though culture is different around the world, there are some things that are unanimous. Joy, happiness, sadness, grief. That's why a picture, though taken in one part of the country or one part of the world, can create the exact same emotion the other
Globally.
side of the world.
Yeah. Oh, what an articulation.
Yeah.
What an articulation. I was so excited when you mentioned about those values of kindness, happiness, just showing people who you are beyond what you went to school to learn. You know, I have sat, now that you mentioned Budapest, when I went to Europe, I also went to a country that they did not speak English very well. Their national language is they're Dutch. Okay. And there's a friend of mine who hosted me. He's called Robert. Thank you so much, Robert, for the host. Robert hosted me in his house, and we've been friends for 10 years. That's not the story. The story is about the daughter who does not speak English. Her daughter is called Zoe. Zoe, we connected with Zoe from the airport. Okay? She just came and hugged me, and I hugged her, and then she was a young baby. So yesterday was her birthday. So this when this episode comes, it's like a week ago.
Yeah.
So we hugged and we connected from different dialects.
Yeah.
But now what has kept us in conversation with Zoe, even in when she speaks Dutch and the Dutch translates to me, it's because Zoe remembers how we went riding a bike together, how I carried her, how I was always happy around her. So I agree with the affirmations. These are the words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And these are the words of affirmation. So I agree with those words of affirmation that in a way, if you lock your way from what people, I think also in a way, I agree with you that it's more about you as an individual. It's actually you. And now the next question I wanted to ask you, then how do you interconnect, cultures? How do you in a way interconnect culture from let's say you're working from Nairobi, okay, and you probably handling an office in Rome, or let's say in London, and you are getting emails from inquiry. How do we go about this? Is this social media post we need to do? How do you handle this on interoperability to communicate one single communication, that while you are in London, while you are in the US, I'm in Nairobi, and even with the time difference, we are still together as a team?
Okay. First, I speak their language. So let me give an example. Currently, I'm in communication with someone from Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
Burkina Faso is French speaking predominantly. So even their communication, everything comes in French. We're talking on WhatsApp. I have to go translate and respond back in their language. Translate. So I'm not French speaking, by the way.
Okay.
And neither do I speak Portuguese, because a lot of the work we do in Africa is there's the English speaking countries, there's Francophone and Anglophone.
Yeah.
So all the work I produce is translated into those three languages. We work with the Elephant Protection Initiative, we work with 26 African member states.
Yeah.
Of the 26 African member states, a huge population of those are French speaking. A smaller is Portuguese speaking. And then now there's the global, our global audience, donors, partners, board members. Now, for the ones who speak a different language, I speak in their language. On email, on WhatsApp, whatever way we communicate, I'll speak in your language. I respect you. It's a giving in that sense. So they know I'm English speaking, but they can see me taking the effort to learn or translate 10,000 times what I'm trying to communicate back to them. And we foster communications. And when I ask for favors, for instance, with interviews, features, very well done, very fast-tracked, and that is an aspect of relationship. You see how me and you met once when we were
Yeah.
working with Blaze, and we've carried on our relationship for years,
Yeah.
and our relationship has bore fruits,
Yeah.
financial and
Both
professional
not-
fruits.
yeah.
You understand? But it started with a connection from an individual point.
Yeah.
We vibed. We supported each other. When you see I'm doing something, you support me. When I see you're doing something, I support you.
Yeah.
That language is understood across all regions, and people are quick to pick people they can connect with.
Oh, wow.
From all over the world, people are the same, and that's why
People are people.
people are people. And that's how I was telling before we started recording, I was sharing with Steve the importance of a multidisciplinary approach
Oh, yeah.
to professionalism. So don't just do your degree in, for instance, journalism or communication, do a master's in communication, do a PhD in communication. Well, that's one way to go about it, but it's more valuable to approach it from a multidisciplinary sect. What do I mean by this? You've done communication. What do you do in communication? You connect people or people with ideas. People are a huge aspect there. Learn about psychology, learn about people, their behaviors. We're the same. The way human beings are, we have so many similarities.
Yeah.
And that is the direct path of entering a culture. The similarities. Don't worry about the differences. The differences you mark as you're listening, you realize, oh, here they don't look each other in the eye. So maybe let me not look.
Yeah.
Let me not look at you in the eye. Or here, they don't hug each other.
Yeah.
Here, they don't touch each other. That's something very important to notice. Touch. What are the boundaries? There are some places where you step, you are distant.
Yeah.
Maybe you bow instead of curtsying. There are some places you curtsy. So I would say that multidisciplinary approach helps in navigating these things. I have forgotten the question as I
It's
have been
fine.
responding,
It's fine.
and I hope I've
I think you've responded to it. You
Yeah.
responded to it, and I, even just to add on what you're saying, I was equally telling you. I was telling Clara off record that I learned somewhere that as a photographer also that I don't know whoever wrote that quote, but he said before you photograph someone, go back to their backgrounds, learn their learn about
Anthropology.
Yeah, learn about their beliefs, their culture, what do they like, so that before when you're coming to photograph someone, you're photographing beyond what the image displays. You're photographing backloads of info that no one knew existed, so that by the time someone sees that moment of love, smile, anger, or anything, and write about it, people can actually you can actually pinpoint this to what you read about, So that is very interesting. But I was so excited to see you in school. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, am I the only person here? Then I saw you graduated. I was like, oh goodness. How was that moment for you?
Amazing. Amazing. It was one chapter closed.
Yeah.
And it gave me the freedom to open another chapter. It's good to close doors, as you open them, close them, not leaving doors open, all the doors in your house open, because
Yeah.
none has been done.
Yeah.
So it was a good moment. But as I'm speaking, I've remembered something I wanted to say in our previous point, in how you navigate the different cultures and, communicating in a global landscape, is that you don't do it alone. So when you're developing communication, when you're developing videos, any form of communication, run it by someone else. Run it by your colleague or your superior. Like, for instance, for me, I have a superior. He's the senior consultant. He used to be the director of communications for the EPI. I always run everything by him because he see, when you look at, for instance, when you're developing a video, you've looked at that video for 10 hours or sijui how many hours. There's some things that you just don't see, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you get tired. You're like, I don't have any other content to show this storyline. So you just put what you have there. But then it's someone else who watches and tells you, maybe there's a disconnect between this part and this part. Or maybe sometimes he asks me, what did you want to
Achieve
express?
with
Yes.
this.
Such a kind man.
Yeah, what did
He
you want to
asked
achieve
me,
with this?
what did you want to express in this part? And I tell him, and he says, well, that's not what this says.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the complete opposite, especially for this and this audience. So as he refines the communication, he also refines me. You understand? So then now I get better with time. The communication gets better. It's more impactful. And at the end of the day, all the stakeholders, the target audience, our board, the staff, everyone is happy. So don't ever do it alone. In a team, sometimes you might be the only comms person in your team, but there's another employee who's been there longer. So for instance, even if it's procurement, by the way, you just need someone to look at it differently, but someone who understands the organization as much or even more than you do. So you just tell them, have a look at this video. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yes, the graduation was fun. I'm back in school. You'll see me graduating over and over again. I'm a lifelong learner, so usichoke kuniona shule.
Nitakuona tu sasa tutadu. No, I embraced that point of school because that's something I was really inspired, actually. I thought I was taking that personal journey alone because also skilling or pivoting your skills, it's another personal journey that you always need to do. And when you see someone also that you know doing that, it excites your soul. And I was so excited. I'll share pictures of me and Clara when we met in school. Well, I'm still continuing in school, so I'll let you know when I graduate.
Yeah, we'll come, we'll dance. And don't stop, because at some point in your life, then you will be a teacher. Yeah, it's the cyclic nature of life. So continue learning, continue working, so that when the time comes, you can also then now give back by teaching, writing, yeah.
Where we are, it's very beautiful. But allow me to ask these questions so that then I get back to this mood where it's such a beautiful mood.
Yeah.
But also people will ask, AI is changing global communication, rather technology, and AI is so personal. It's so personal. I wrote some articles the other day. I'll show it to you. And AI is changing how people also perceive global communications, So what do you think of the interaction with AI in a global communication and culture perspective, and how do you think that in a way is likely to change perspective or how things are being displayed?
Yeah.
So how do you think AI is shaping that space as we speak now? Because everyone is saying AI is the future.
Well, yeah, same way people said Facebook was the future in 2009. Well, I think my first thought is that there's nothing that will exist in this world that will take away the responsibility from human beings to shape their world.
Yeah.
So, nothing will take the responsibility out of human beings to shape our world. So who is shaping the world? It is people. technology, AI, is a tool wielded by people to make things easier, faster, more convenient. So the person in control is still a person.
Sorry about the technical itch we've just had, but we're discussing about how do you think AI is shaping global communications now?
Yeah. So I was saying that shaping future or shaping anything is done by humans first. So humans are the agents, technology is the tool. So there's different versions of technology. You remember how in 2009 we thought Facebook is changing the world?
Yeah.
Or rather, I found out in 2009, but maybe 2008 or 2007. But when social media came, there was a similar mindset that social media is changing the world. But is it really, or are people changing the world using social media?
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of a distortion in how we think towards AI. So people are leveraging AI. AI is a tool. It's not a person with its own mind, with its own, so it's people engineered. So then we ask ourselves, what are the new frontiers we want to get to now that we have AI? You understand?
Yeah.
So you can develop the aeroplane, but it's the pilot to put in the coordinates, right?
Yeah.
So us as human beings, as global communication professionals, it's for us to paint a new world with AI, not AI to paint the world for us.
Yeah.
Even in terms of how you interact with things like ChatGPT, the quality of the prompt determines the quality of the product that ChatGPT produces. So you want better produced prompts, you structure better produced content, you structure the prompts better. When you're thinking about designed images or designed videos for populations like Africa, where we've not been so photographed doing different things, you know how when you go to Shutterstock, finding you get the same 3 Africans and you the same Africans, quote unquote, at work, at the football field. You know how you're looking for different images, but it's the same type of models.
Yeah.
So when you're using AI to develop now this new content for adding to your videos, it's richer than what we've had before. But then again, it's the prompt. So I feel that if we change our mindset towards AI, we can get so far. So it's not a question on where it's leading us. It's a question of vision for us. Where do we want to go?
Yeah.
You get it? Do we want to go to a place where we are able to, for instance, as a photographer or as a communicator, let me use myself as a writer, that I envision a world where when I write this story, when I write this, for instance, press release, I'm prompting AI to develop 10 different storylines that I could then produce. So you see, it's all dependent on my vision.
Yeah.
So then the challenge is on the professional to have better visions.
Yeah.
So if you don't like what AI is producing, the onus is on us to dream better.
Yeah. Now I agree with you because getting back to it, I've also received information on my desk that AI is going to change how photography is going to be. I don't know how AI can go to Turkana, you understand, and listen to a woman and relate a story to their own personal life story and pick that particular point that could relate to all the other people who are going to listen to this. So in a way, AI is shifting, but I agree with the perspective. It's just embracing it, yeah?
On that example, I know what AI can do. I think it won't tell the story for you,
Yeah.
but it can enhance your vision. You know how sometimes we go to a village? So at first, you know, the pre-filming where you have to bond with the subject, you know, you're trying to ask, oh, mama, so how have things been? Of course, you're priming them before then you set up the interview, right?
Yeah.
So then now in the interview, mama is telling you about how 15 years ago there existed a well there where the cattle is. Now, AI can help you create a simulation of what that place used to look like.
Yeah.
But it's not the one it's not coming to develop the story for us. You understand?
Yeah.
So I think I agree with you in that there's no fear in technology. So also as someone who did IT in her undergrad, IT is any form of technology is a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool. It doesn't replace the person. It doesn't replace the thinking and creating ability that has been given to human beings. So even whatever AI creates, it can only create based on what it has already been fed before. But the aspect of creating something that has never existed on this earth before, that's just a human skill. Even goats or cows or, you know, what are the most intelligent creatures? They say eagles.
Yeah.
It's only a gift given to human beings.
Yeah, but also if you look at it, even as we close, we're not closing it. That's the first, even as we close. I'm thinking that even the technology we're discussing now is still on its trial periods, because Africa does not have its own AI to even shape global perspective about itself as a continent, you know. So there's still much to learn, still much to probably embrace, and still, just like you've said, someone going deeper and developing the bigger vision of what they want to do, and probably using technology to see how it could become better, you know. Yeah, that makes sense, or what?
It does make sense.
But
And
you
I have
have a different view.
not a different view.
Or yours is to echo what the chairman was
I
saying.
have a dream. Like Martin Luther King.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
Okay.
I have a vision of oneness in the world. My dream is for us to approach things with a oneness. You see how, like, for instance, we say, there's just a statement you've said that reflects how we feel as Africans sometimes, where, you know, Africa is not part of the conversation. Maybe we need to have our own. I dream of a future where we take what exists and transform it into what we want to see. Because waiting is not an option. Waiting is not an option. And because of how technology is developed, it is in the interests of the developer that things come to be.
Yeah.
So if the developers are not African, how then would they have Africa's best interests at heart? But the consumers are African. So you remember how I was telling you that people are both consumers and producers? We can influence the outcome of, for instance, ChatGPT by feeding it more prompts that are Africa. So educating the tech on Africa, on Turkana, on Meru, on the different aspects that it might then gain that intelligence and get that information. Not to say that, oh, this is for the whites.
Yeah.
It's not for
Oh,
us.
wow. Yeah. I now get you, because the technology is already developed.
Yeah.
Then it's for us to influence it,
Influence
to work for
it,
us.
feed it,
Yeah, to work
use
for
it.
us. Yeah.
Not to say that in this class there's no ChatGPT, you know.
Yeah.
Not to say that, oh, but then as comms professionals, as people who, and this is a challenge for communication professionals, for researchers,
Okay.
because the researchers have the information.
Mm-hmm.
Feed these platforms.
Yeah.
Um, with no immediate gain in mind, but to have a say. Because to have a say, you have to give first before you receive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's meant to have a say in global spaces. Yeah. I'm grateful that you've mentioned that. So last but not least, I think I mean, I think my take home from your conversation or from this conversation is global communications and culture. It's more personal than let me use the regional word. So I notice you don't want a local word, but it's beyond. It's looking at the world beyond your normal space.
Yeah.
And trying to understand what other spaces could offer you in life, and even trying to embrace those other spaces. That's what I've learned from you from all this.
Yeah.
But also I've learned from you about the human angles that don't leave you, and they're global. The values of discipline, integrity, respect, kindness, and even happiness. I think those are my take homes from this conversation. And I wanted to ask you that even as you pivot to other areas, because now I don't see you coming local again. Aki, don't
How?
come. How?
How?
Aje.
How? Then when you cut my blood, you can see DNAs from different parts of
Can't.
the world. How?
I wanted us to talk about connection as our last topic, okay? Because I've learned that also being a global communication expert can also make you to have global connections. And so when you have global connections, what do you do with that kind of connections? To to leverage on the spaces or the global space you're in. What's your take on that?
What do you do? What do you do with these connections? You keep them. And how do you keep them? You remember, work is a very small percentage of your life.
Yeah.
If you think about it in a grand scheme of, so when you're really young, work as we call it is like everything, right? For instance, if I think about the past, in my 20s, work was me and I was work. It
Yeah.
was, I was
Niko
always
job,
working.
Niko job.
I was always working.
Clara uko wapi?
Niko job. I was always working. And then now something sweet happened in that then I also started influencing my work. So the work was not just happening to me, I was also happening to the work,
Yeah.
right? So then also being in charge of the different things that I do. So as you're meeting people and as you progress in your career, the more work and life, the lines become a bit blurred. You understand? Because the people who, for instance, now, Steve, as you grow in your career, or let me speak for myself because I may be imposing visions on you, as I
Please,
grow.
I want to receive them.
So, for instance, let me speak for you then. As you grow in your career, the more you grow in expertise, the more you start maybe having master classes on photography. And photography, for instance, for aid. How do you photograph? How do you do ethical photography for aid in East Africa, for instance? Then you have a master class. So that's not an employer, that's just you finding a way to give back to younger photographers, right? Now, is that work or is that life?
That's life.
That's life, right?
Yeah.
Then maybe you say, I want to write a book, publish a photography book of maybe the people of Turkana, because something maybe has happened. You know how nature changes and communities keep growing smaller, and you preserve the cultural heritage of communities through books, through pictures, through videos, you understand? Then you decide to do that as a project. That's life, right?
Yeah.
So it's work, but it's also life.
Yeah.
So the more you work, the more it becomes one. There's a oneness to your life. They come together. Like me and you, how we talk. It's life, but sometimes it's work.
Work, yeah.
And sometimes life, sometimes
It's
work.
Yeah,
You get?
I know.
For instance, now you've gotten to know my sister. You're
Yeah.
starting to see my family. Is that work or is that life? It's life.
It's life, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's literally life.
you share. How do you maintain intercultural and interracial relationships
Yeah.
through living together? For instance, when I started this, something I was doing earlier this year, and I onboarded my very good friend Christina. She's called Christina Godding.
Hi, Christina.
From London. She
Hi.
is. She
you make
is.
sure she watches this podcast.
She must.
Okay.
And she also, that's the thing though, we follow each other's lives.
Okay.
So even from here, I have pictures of her dog.
Oh,
I have
wow.
met her dad. I have met her. So yes, we met at work, we clicked, and we said, you know what? For life.
We are together in this, or we are leaving no one
For
behind.
life. So we connect deeply. Right now, we share dreams of doing a PhD. We help each
Oh,
other.
wow.
Sometimes she helps me read through the essays. So we connect beyond work and we find different points of interest. So pets, we both like pets. Then we also have a dream of accomplishing our PhDs in impactful areas in conservation. Let me give another example. There's also some friends I have in the United States of America. We share, so for instance, for them, we connect on political aspects. Don't ask me
Geopolitics.
why.
I
You know,
love
Kenyans and
geopolitics.
politics.
Yeah.
You know, you can't separate a Kenyan in politics.
Yeah, even now we can't.
Even now you can't. So we share a lot about those things. We talk about different conferences that I can listen in on to see how, as a professional in the non-governmental organizations, how then we can engage in these conversations without harming the people we serve. Because opinions matter. Our opinions matter. So how do I structure my opinion in a way that counts? Where I'm not just shouting, but how can I speak in a way that gains the right attention and attention that actually helps our situation here at home? Because before anything else, I am a Christian, and right after that, I'm a Kenyan. So if my home is burning, I'm also not okay.
Okay, yeah.
So that's how you connect with professionals all over the world. You share your life. You share your life. Like, for instance, even with my colleagues currently, I tell them what's happening. I'm like, so on Tuesdays, we usually have our meetings and I share.
And on Wednesday, we have
I'm
Mandamano.
like, guys, we're not okay.
Last but not least, okay, this is the list anyway.
Yeah.
I think we need to have a second session of this conversation and discuss the area of there's so many areas we have not tackled. Okay, I think we need to have a part 2 of this. Can you promise our audience you're coming back again?
You know, promises are dead.
No, you will find time.
We are fighting debt in this country. I'm kidding.
No, you will find time.
Yeah.
You will find time. And
Yeah.
you let me know. But I want you to promise even your friends who are watching you that you're going to show up again.
Yeah. I'll commit to you because you're the one I know.
Yeah, it's me.
I'll
it's
commit
me, not you.
You're the one I know. So I will commit to come back when, you see fit, because of course this is also a platform with other professionals. So when the time is right, I will make time.
When the time is right,
In God's good timing.
I will make everything beautiful.
Yes. And when God beautifies, he beautifies permanently.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, I commit to you that when you call me, I will make time and I will come.
Okay. It will be so exciting to even have other conversations. Even beyond global communications, I am I'm a staunch lover of geopolitics. I'm actually thinking of opening another podcast space to just discuss geopolitics, but that's a conversation for another day. But maybe you have a parting shot before we close this. And then I'll just tell our viewers it was nice. Or you want to close? Which one works for you?
Oh, let me do a parting shot, then you close for us. You're not a visitor. It's like telling the visitor, okay, can you now close the curtains? Don't know how curtains are closed in
Closed.
another person's house. But my parting shot is something that my first CEO told us that has rung true throughout my life. His name is Martin Chiari. Very great and influential man, not only in the business space, but I think everyone who's worked with him closely has left touched. So there's something he was telling us when we were at Bean that has rung true till date. And he was saying that what you do between 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. is what makes you excellent between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Oh.
So what you do outside of work is what makes you brilliant. It's not what you do at your desk or in the meetings. It is what you consume after work. It is who you believe in, your faith. It is your values. It is the strength of your family. It is the things that are outside work, your hobbies, if you have some, exercise, strength, like everything that makes anyone anything in the workspace is done outside of the office. It's done either on their knees to God, it's done at the gym, getting healthy, it's done by what they consume. So if you look at the people who you think are brilliant, also look at what they consume. What do they watch? What do they read? What do they listen to? So as you're a professional striving upwards, just know that it's not going to happen at your desk. It's the things outside of the desk that influence what you're doing on the desk. So that is my parting shot. And nothing is impossible. Nothing. If I can do the work that I do today, I'm a testament that nothing is impossible. God can do anything with something small.
Mustard seed faith.
A mustard seed faith. Anatusapisha.
We used to sing some song when we were young.
Ay, nimenyunyiza hiyo.
Yeah, so for both those people who don't understand those song, type on the comment, we'll tell you what it means. But that was Clara, professional communication, global communication professional. Joining us at SOP Podcast. If you think there's something Clara should have mentioned on the comment, we'll have her here again to share more insights. But from us to you, thank you so much for joining us. Bye until another time.
Bye.
Bye.